Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3. Alright, we're getting ready for things here. What, about 38 hours, maybe a little more before we'll tackle what will be Kuwait one day. Now, I've been talking to a few people about infrastructure, supply, and suggesting that I build even more to supply down here. Now, a huge stack of forces here. Almost afraid to show you. Don't know what to do with all of these units. I mean, obviously I'm not going to get rid of them or anything. That is just a remainder there. But I moved all of these units down to invade Iran. Excuse me. To invade Iran and then try to supply them. That would be suboptimal for the supply. Kind of, we got a lot of units here already. We don't need more. Got more units moving around. But infra builds reasonably quickly, but we've already started our invasion of India. And the AI will try to run the primary supply source from Berlin all the way down through Iran into India. Now, I don't think India is going to last too long as a battle here because, well, a fair amount of units I think are somewhat mixed up in fighting the Japanese. But we're going to have occupation duties, and to that end I'm sending a bunch of Orpo units here just to be in a different spot to then ship them on. And we very likely may be taking another crack at the Soviets at some point. Not for a while yet, but at some point. And so we'll need occupation units and other things here. And so the supply tax, you know, the tax for moving supplies across every province, will be horrendous going out to here. Where if we run it down to Pola here, and then via sea, I think it'll be much better. And so to that end, what I'm going to do is, when I go to war with Iran, is do it as a puppeting them. So that way it won't try to run supply through there. Where Saudi Arabia, they don't have a whole lot of oil, at least at this time period. I'll probably just try to grab all the oil directly. We're here. Lots and lots of oil. Would be nice, but we'll live. We'll get some from puppeting them and things too anyways, but so let's continue this. And it looks like the AI is actively retreating, because they've, not just where we've attacked, but these other places here, they're actively going somewhere else. Our supply problems have basically disappeared here, now that we have the Vichy have the second port. Long-range submarines have improved, great. Very good. And it opens up these, so don't like the lack of range on that one, but we'll start with that. Okay, we got more air down here. Let's sort of base it. Area of operation like that. That looks good. Sonar detection equipment has advanced. That's good. Also a submarine tech. So, well, I don't mind the extra build cost for refrigeration and build time, or air conditioning, I should say. But the reduction in range isn't fun, but we'll take it. Got a whole lot of stuff building. Some actively, some... Well, let's try to pursue these guys here. I'll let them all get away. I think they're having the supply problems now. We're also fighting the Jewish revolt in Warsaw. Look, we're going to come out top, especially with this SS reinforcements. Something's pursuing me, so it looks. Up here now. Maybe we lost it. Uh-oh. Oh, aircraft. Facing out of here, probably? Yeah. Now, getting two more. Okay, let's send you down here. Yes, everything's flowing out the Mediterranean right now. The second. That's the 11th, that's the 16th. Well, there's the third. We'll take the third. Send them down here now. Direct fire unit command and control advance, very good. You can point your guns their command a little better. Okay, so everything there basically, we're not doing resistance support. No one's really occupying lands that much that we claim. Rooting our allies, so that's not really all that useful. Got that. Well, let's look at naval operations. We could probably do some better things here. Yeah, light cruiser training. Got escort role. There's air crew training. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's do the light cruiser training. Improve that. And armored car designs have advanced. And we're going to stop that. And we're also going to shift that too. Away replenishment. Ooh, that would be very useful. So we'll do that. Okay, we've won the Battle of Warsaw. Just something I sort of programmed in. And okay, well, let's see. Can we move you up to here? Yeah. Trying to avoid that air power because I think it's mainly going looking for those subs, but it was hammering us in previous times. But I knew exactly what the air power was, but I sort of knew it was there. Okay. You're a long way from your headquarters. Okay, you swing up around there, you come there then. And I'm sure put a bit of a strain on supply. But we're turning the tables on the British. Ah. Let's do small fleet. Okay. I'm not really doing it so much for the transports, although they may be sort of nice. I'm doing it mostly for get more of these light vessels. But kick all this up top. Actually, you know, kick all these down to the bottom again. I want to see if we can, how quickly we can have those with 0 ICs before they, and these come due. Yeah, let's just try that. I have some aircraft here, I think. Ground attacking. You attack up there. Yeah, that does better. Now let's look back at the production. Yeah. They still haven't adjusted to cost anything yet. Good, these guys are already here. Okay, move up to there. Strike into there. Well, we sure did well here in West Africa. Vichy was going to lose everything, and air mobile units out there. Let's take another look. Okay, still at 0 cost. They're not progressing very fast. They progress a little faster. How are we doing down here? Okay. Well, they're still doing fairly well. We've got to check out here in India. Sorry about that. Okay, we've got some headquarters. Well, let's send you down like this. Coach in to take that. You march up to there. You march to there as well. You come down to here. Help just occupy those colonial militia units. Won't be that effective against anything. It won't move that fast. Okay, you're going through forests and plains. Okay, well. Right out there. Are they so slow? Weather. Okay. These guys there. Patrol out here. Okay, we are pushing there. Going to the mountains there. Okay, well, you join the fight here. Okay, artillery, barrel, and ammunition has advanced. Very good. Now, self-propelled artillery, that would be nice. We'll do that. What is that? Okay, well, let's see if we can get up to here passively so you don't force your way there if you're... Italy, Italy, Italy. Give them money for crude oil, yes. Hungary. We give them metal for money, sure. And give them energy for money, sure. We probably waited much longer than we needed, yes, okay. No, we can't. That's what I thought. Okay, so what we need to do is fall in Iraq. Call to arms. Okay, now we can do this. And the Hermann Goering Division attacks this force. Like mostly headquarters types and garrison. But because they're fighting as hard as they are, it looks like they did have some level of support units there. Okay, now, oh, 8th Panzer Division, the Hermann Goering Division, all doing very well. Why aren't you coming in still? I don't know. Go. Bow ramps. Okay, good. Let's come back for naval operations because we're going to be doing more and more of that. Yeah, well, that's way I haven't even been done at all, and it takes quite a while to do that research. Does Iraq think it needs to take that? Can I get to possess it? I hope not. Okay, I want its oil. How much oil is there? 9. Okay, well, also along those lines, let's look at Saudi Arabia. Yeah, they're slowly moving, but not fast enough. So we're going to declare war to conquer. So, good. desert. Won't be fun. We've almost really got this overkill for Saudi Arabia. Probably be more of a hassle to occupy it than it will be to conquer it, or I'm almost sure of that. I should move all these units in. Send them into Saudi Arabia as well. Changing my mind on moving a few extra units there. Oh, what tech was that? Side shield armor protection. That would be this one. Okay, yeah, let's again, we're hoping this will help some of our naval operations to be less costly with the British. There we go. They've been hit a little bit more by something. Okay, let's run into here. Gonna have, well, we need a little bit more escort. Here we go. There we go. More air cover there. I sent out these guys. Yeah, no, not those. Did they not get sent, maybe? No, it looks like they got sent. Maybe they came to here? Yeah. Happened to them. Maybe they're still at sea. There are cruisers that I wanted to assign to them. No longer in here, are they? Oh no, I forgot to deploy them. They started. Ah, well, I started to the episode, and because of a crash well, I didn't start the episode. I started to prepare for the episode, move units around, get stuff going, that kind of thing, do some of the work, and I experienced a crash when I tried to save it. Then I went in and redid a bunch of stuff, and I forgot to redo this, or some of this. Okay, well, you join the Breslau. I don't really care who commands it because you're not going to do that for very long. You come down to here. Just another couple of good escorts for that fleet, especially once they get organized. Gonna move at their own speed. think we will also stick them here. There we go. Oh, it's slightly better. Blockade runner. Don't know if he's going to stay in command. Probably not, because we're probably going to attach him to some other force, like one or coming up. Oh, wait a minute. Do we have anybody else we want to transport down in that direction? Yeah, we'll do this. Nope. Nope. There we go. We'll transport there while you organize yourself up. It should be a relatively safe passage. You know, some of the bullets I go, what am I doing? I sort of know what I'm doing. Grenadier Division. Drop them here. Get a, well, Val will be, I don't know if Val did command them or not. Go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would want to look at theirs. Okay, we've got 3 of these now. Where are the now? Okay, we're gonna have to wait a bit before we can attach. But I got the armored car regiments. Now I want to come back up here and look. Okay, yeah, so these are now costing us a little bit of money. Build those, so let's kick all of this back up to the top. There we go. Those will. Well, these are now down here. Oh, I guess I should have left them at the top and not worried about that. Oh well, don't really care about those right now, so we'll let them sit down there. They're not even one I see a piece. But they would have been done better. Yeah, so learn from my mistakes, people. Should have just let those done instead of trying to get the others. Okay, this did go to Iraq. Damn it. I wanted the oil. I couldn't invade from there. It was somewhat neutral. Okay, now. Came back in here just to sort of do that same thing, as to make sure that I'm occupying it, not giving it over to Vichy. Yes, you've all outrun your headquarters, and I should be assigning somebody new to it. Ooh. Oh, those are Iraqi aircraft. I was wondering whose aircraft that was. Well, the Italians actually made it ashore again, and there, how interesting. Okay, well. They sure got over there. We have to defend the Swiss border problem. Uh-oh, we shattered a... Then we get shattered. Wow. That's something. Those battalions are tough. Back up here, yeah. Oh, wow. Those are tough. Yeah, I know they're not a full division or anything, but they're tough. They shattered. That was a hard fight. Okay, the colonial police are counterattacking. All right here. Okay, well. Across that. Let them do their thing. Take them a while to do that, but march on. Okay, damage control systems for light vessels. Good. Now, let's look at other damage control. No. Transports, not really. Well, prove that. Now, did these guys make it in already? Yes, and in pretty good shape. I'm up over to there now. Switzerland. We would give them. Sure, you want some metal. Now let's see. I don't know that there's a good reason not to start our invasion of Iran either. So we're going World Conquest Tour 1943 Iran, and we're going to declare war. Let's be careful not to hit Case Anton. His Vichy's doing just fine as it is now. Don't need to have Division Sicilians forming. Okay. On the 23rd of May 1943, O.B. Sood ordered to form the Division Sicilian. I think they mean like Sicilian, you know, Sicily. Just presumably German, but let's see. Out of the personnel which were originally the reinforcement troops for the 15th Panzer Division, in June 43 the division became operational with Order OKH, Chief H. Rust. You bunch of numbers and letters won't mean anything to us really unless you want to look up something. On the 6th of July 1943, the division took over the traditions of the 15th Panzer Division and was renamed the 15th Panzer Grenadier Division. I'm guessing, just guessing right now, and we may have had the event and just don't remember. The 15th may have been in Tunisia or something like that and got destroyed basically when cut off. So, in the production queue, never really tell for sure. No, yes, they are. All the way to the top. So, OB, okay. Cool. So, back to diplomacy here. Iran. Eventually you'd probably come around, but I'm not going to wait. Okay, we're going to puppet them. The loyal government in Iran. Where is your headquarters? Way far away. Yeah, that looks much better. Okay. Let's come down through the hills into there. These Italian motorized units can help out. Probably too far away from there. 7th Army. Let's see if we can find a closer army. Now, yep, there we go. Far away. Back to the army group. Gross Deutschland. Let's I think a good option there. Come into the hills there, and then punch down through here. That looks like the best advance. And the reason, of course, is the river here. This rump formation of the Totenkopf. You come here. Okay, heavy armor, good. Don't think you'd probably really be needed. Like, this is probably way overkill. Actually, you know, just come straight down this way. Hungarian armor, that. The 10th Panzer Division. We got overkill here so much. Yeah. Okay, well, like I say, we got lots of overkill. Yeah, don't we have a lot of overkill? It's like it's almost there was going to be a real opposition. India or something. And the famous 7th Panzer Division. Okay, attack. Okay, like I sort of expect to have a few of these. You can go down and do that. Deal with that one. Just clean that up a little bit. I think it's really only going to take getting the one victory hex here and the war will be over. Okay, Vichy France. Yes, you may have energy. Iraq, we will give them energy. Certainly, you may have all the energy you want. Okay, let's look back over here. Well, this will move up. Now, okay. Let's transfer these guys. There. Okay, and where, these have made it here. Oh, yep. There we go. You come down to here. reinforced from a naval aspect, I think. Or the Azores. Hopefully we'll be able to reach it. Oh, and let's attack from there. And then the Hermann Goering Division there is intending to do that as well. You're gonna lose. Oh, lost an effect that caused us to have a lot of consumer goods. Oh, we lost a province. Wow. Saudi Arabia is doing great. They took a province. Okay, well, we'll take here. Okay, strategic rocket development. Great. And flying bomb. Well, we do want to do those eventually in these. Yeah, let's do this. Give them money for crude oil. Oh, sure. Italians are advancing nicely. Not like we even need to advance these guys from here. here? I think so. Yes. There we go, Breslau and the Strasbourg. Okay, well now that's a better cushion, shall we say, invasion force. Still we have the Bismarck and the Tirpitz. How is it doing? Pretty good, upgrading its light anti-aircraft model still. Capital ship fire control and naval HQ radar, yeah. Okay, but we're not going to wait on all of that. Wish I had a couple of more destroyers as part of it, part of this fleet. But we could have some more naval bombers for escorts, couldn't we? Okay, so we don't, because we have various, don't know what that is, that probably isn't too much, but we have various British fleet moving around at times, and they still have some big vessels, and maybe, who knows, we may even bump into the American Navy one day. Oh, that's right, we got these carrier base fighters there, but they're going to stay there because I don't want to waste or lose them on something that isn't, and then need them later when we have the carrier that we want to put them on, ready to go. Okay, so that would be a good, no, not Hans Kammler. He died 3 times. Hans Kammler. Or maybe he died 4 times. And you may wonder why I'm saying that. He should probably have naval. Operation Osterkamp. I don't know, but I would give him naval skills. He's too old to be a combat pilot in World War II, but he was a somewhat decorated, I do believe. Well, I know he was decorated, but he wasn't necessarily a Goering or a Richthofen level of decoration in World War I. But Osterkamp was in the what is it, Imperial German Naval Air Operations. He was a naval pilot in World War I. In the Luftwaffe in World War II, and commanded fighter squadrons and helped train fighter pilots because he had a lot of knowledge and was probably a pretty good pilot, but not young enough to, yeah, you're an anti-shipping guy. See if I can find the headquarters quickly here. So some people, I don't know how you want to say it, age better than others, able to do things longer, or when they're older. One would be not nearly as the age of Osterkamp at the time, but like Pappy Boynton of the famous Black Sheep Squadron, sort of made famous with the TV series. Wasn't quite what that TV series was, but overplayed things there. But the point is he was, well, there it is. Definitely from an age perspective, over the age of being a fighter pilot. But he ended up doing very well. Because again, you can command, even in the air, good judgment, good command, that kind of thing. You can do stuff like that fairly well. But he was also shot down a lot of pilots, or enemy pilots. And you might legitimately say, I'll leave Ball in charge of that one until I look and see. But not you, we've got better guys. Unless we come back and find out he was one of the historical commanders. Petrich. Thought he was already commanding something. Are there two of him in this game? Could be. Okay. And another thing we're somewhat doing here is running low on supplies. Getting out to here. So I got this here. Air supply. That there. Hopefully it doesn't attract fighters, but yes it is. Oh no, that's my transport. Wow, no, I'm seeing things, aren't I? Oh well, no, there's the enemy fighter there. Well, let's put you up here. The radar is spotting it. Try to keep from going up with Britain too much, but we probably want to change that to, oh no, it is passive, good. Currently defaulting to passive. You guys get into any fight going on up here? Ooh, a lot of events. Jungle unit command and control. Okay, I think we're going to stop that for the moment. Yeah, and now there's way just too many to do everything effectively at the moment. Well, maybe we can cut down on some of the officer training. But let's look at some other tactics here. Port shock. Let's do sheer plunk. Rebuild. Okay, I know we are losing a few, so yeah, we'll take this. Petrol rationing, not right now. No, thank you. Marine Commander, no, we don't need you again. We don't need you again. These need to have a better check. And no. And just check, I guess, the first time you run the thing. Okay, and yeah, let's put you up top. We're doing fairly well with manpower, but we're getting old. Doing fairly well with divisions as well. As you well know, if you're paying attention. What we could do now, though, is well, we're almost there. Let's wait a bit on submarines. Let's do more air power. Let's get to where we can just swamp England with fighters. There we go. There we go. We'll be able to pound England hard with fighters when we get all of those up. Now we have a couple of, well, we have these subs here. Let's, we're going to let them sit there for a while. I'm thinking of sending them out to the Azores once we, oh, what am I doing? Not thinking clearly, that's what I'm clearly I'm doing. Okay. No. I'm going to drop you in the province. You join for a second thing. These aren't quite upgraded to being... There we go, and there we go. Let's get organized before we send you out. Now, where are my... Here we go. Where are they all? Okay, some of the others are down here. Okay, this one here. We're going to... Okay, now I think basically where you're going. Okay. That's the second. So let's put the second here. R, add the second reconnaissance unit there. And then let's... Do we have the... Look, we have the... Okay, well... Oh, that's the reconnaissance. There we are. There we go. It has a headquarters, so that's almost really a sort of a division there. Okay, they've got to wait a little bit before they get. They got to be in German territory for me to drop them in there. Be able to do that. We're getting ready for our own invasion. Hopefully, Italy gives up on theirs, and then we will have our invasion. And hopefully do it much better than the Italians. Meaning successfully. Not get kicked out. But that's why we're doing... heavy armor. Yes. Heavy armored battalions and things like that, and turning our brigades and turning them into... Okay, guys are here. We'll let them get organized a little bit. Yeah, I haven't forgotten entirely about Iran either. Just knew that we were sort of doing fairly well. Well, change the direction of your advance. Ooh, lots of stuff. Okay. Wow. Okay. Let me get a pen and write this down, because this is a bad thing. This is one of my events, originally developed by Pavellini, good guy. Now, I put the event together, so the bug is entirely mine, not his. And something here I asked for, and they gave me, and I think generally speaking it is, done a blocked out a number of event numbers, so that Black Ice doesn't conflict with something in TRE. But it could be that, but it's probably me and something that I'm messing up here because the fame of our units gained on the battlefield convinces the Italian ally that our tank crews. Well, I guess no. I guess what it is for some reason the title, because that does sort of make the title here is the same as our event description. So I'm going to just sort of let's see, Himmler Mussolini. I need to change it. I have made a few other notes. I've lost a few of my notes. I'm hopefully at some point going to go through TRE and fix some of these bugs. Again, most of them, like this one, I think works just fine. It's just, again, the title is not showing up. Okay. So I forget what this is supposed to be titled, but this is start of an event chain that has Germany sending support like Panzer IVs and other better armor tanks to supply some Italian units. I'm not exactly sure when that picture was taken, but I have a feeling that's during the Italian Social Republic era. Just sort of Mussolini looks a bit more tired and old than compared to that, and he really took a shock from losing power. But so yes, so we will supplies, but we will improve our relations with Italy, and Italy will get some bonuses. So we will do that. Conf group narrowing disbands, all right. Hope it wasn't one that we were desperately needing or using. Technical brigade oil starts its work at Adamnan. User of Adamnan oil was clearly destroyed. Technical experts of the Reich have started to produce it. Okay. And good. Is that yes, here. Wow. I think this is GGA. So a month or so after we take this province, we'll gain some oil refining. We don't need this. Capability, but so there is one oil rig here. Gonna look here. 6 base, but we're occupying kind of things. So do that. We will gain a second oil rig, I guess, and do some supplies. Yep, second oil rig, great. As well as some improvement to oil refining. I just want to look and see how close we are. Okay, well, something we're going to do soon, because it's halfway 43 here. What are we pushing? Artillery carriage design still. Okay, let's stop that. Okay, that's good. Stop that. I think we just didn't. I think it was one that didn't show up when but others did, so I didn't notice. Oh, we have some heavy artillery, but not lots. I think we're going to continue our naval push here. Spotting. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay, Sturm Division Rhodes, whatever. With the final defeat of the Africa Corps in May 43 in Tunisia, the shores of Africa became a staging ground for further Allied operations against the soft underbelly of Fortress Europa. As of course I have explained, it really wasn't as soft as all of that now, and I think that's a GGA event. Not that I'm saying Revolver Held is talking about the general consensus of what it was, but it wasn't the soft underbelly, like I say. But it was, especially if you look at the coastline, and even if you sort of take out, you know, the sort of Bay of Corinth here with the Corinth Canal, that, you know, it's almost impossible in a practical sense to do landings in these places here. You're just too narrow, you know, and maybe, you know, I guess if these were all super fortressed up but didn't have any shore batteries to shoot into the sea or something, they could, but in a practical sense not. But then if you take, you know, these coastlines out here, all along here, you've just got huge amounts of coastline, and the U.S. was quite capable of coming up the Adriatic. Now, I've talked about how and why coming into North Africa and not doing an invasion of southern France because of the airbase potential from these islands, and that's quite true. So you're not going to realistically get, oh well, we're gonna, you know, launch an invasion from here and land in Venice. But saying all that, once you've got the southern half of, you know, Italy or somewhere, you know, there's the Tiber with Rome, once you've got that secured, then sure, whether it's not that you would really want to particularly land in Venice, but land somewhere around here to cut off, you know, defensive lines, absolutely. Come up and land somewhere around here. You know, if you're holding southern Italy, and presumably you're giving really good air cover, you could easily land here. Now, you probably might want to land some of these other places too to secure air bases, secure attacking points. And again, we can look at infrastructure here. I think maybe a bit optimistic, but some cases here, but still. Because if you really look at the railroads, it's so few coming through here, and this is, yeah, fairly mountainous, fairly rough terrain. And so, you know, you don't necessarily want to do your, you know, your Patton-style dash across Europe starting down here, but you could easily land and secure some bases here. So it becomes just this huge amount of coastline up to, you know, sort of the Turkish border that you now have to defend. And in that sense, it's almost impossible to defend, in the sense that you have to be able to effectively move to block even, you know, some of the invasion types coming into Operation Torch. Definitely by the time you're getting, Sicily was a more serious invasion operation than Torch was. They were learning in how rapidly they were coming ashore with how heavy the troops. But you could easily get to shore, and so, you know, the idea of having a lot of troops, you know, before you can do a reaction force. Talk about how Rommel, you know, this is, everyone's heard about this, but the debate, Rommel knew how it was to operate under Allied air superiority, and knew how damaging it was to move units. And yeah, they're getting too messed up. Well, they've already stopped operating. how damaging it was to units to do so, to move in daylight under American attacks. So he wanted the forces, the Panzer division, spread along the coast and ready there to immediately pounce, where von Rundstedt very wisely wanted to have them concentrated in the rear to move that concentrated hammer to the front, and wherever they determined that the landings were going to happen, and smash it. But again, unwisely, because of the air situation. And Rommel knew better too, in the sense that von Rundstedt's plan is better when you control the air, or effectively dispute the air, put up enough stuff to make the air a real contested. Because trust me, the Americans aren't going to be strafing a lot of ground targets if they've got to be looking over their shoulders for Messerschmitts diving out at the sky at them. You see the gun camera footage with mostly the Americans had 50 caliber machine guns, where the British had 30 caliber machine guns, strafing vehicle columns moving along. They still may do some of that, but you don't want to be down on the near the ground when coming out of the sun or whatever. You get some Messerschmitts diving at you, or Focke-Wulfs or whatever. So you're not going to be doing a lot of that. And the sort of rocket-armed fighter-bomber type aircraft, they're not going to be wanting to fly around with a lot of heavy rockets on them, while there's good enemy fighters over them. So if it was a contested situation, you're doing well enough to move along. But as sort of von Rundstedt knew, I know I'm arguing both sides of this coin because they're both sort of right, is to defend everything is to defend nothing. And maybe keep the individual divisions together, but spread the Panzer divisions out and along the coastline to where you think they might invade. Means you're not defending, you're spreading out everywhere, and you're not defending anywhere effectively. That's why Rommel was so big on all those landmines and anti-tank traps and all that stuff, because he knew that you just have to pound and make it super costly. So with all that in mind, you can't effectively, and we're talking about, the Germans were fairly well convinced that it was going to happen somewhere between, I presume, here, but Calais was sort of on the mines, and I know from some of the stuff, Normandy was, and I don't know how much they thought of some intermediate places. I know once you get out in Brest, from my readings of the Napoleonic era around here, this coast is incredibly rocky, incredibly cliff-like. There are really nice beaches, but there are small beaches, and with big natural cliffs up behind them, that you're not going to be moving divisions across in any way, shape, or form. So you're going to have to come in here with commandos kind of thing and secure these harbors. And presumably the Germans have, put a lot of defenses and augmented whatever the French defenses were along here as well. So this is just, at least the Brest area, that is a no-go. I don't know how much once you get down here. Now here it's sort of a lower, flatter coastline and might be doable, but again, we've talked about more air attacks possible that you're coming. Doable, very doable for the Americans, but not a likely doable situation. And even if it is where the landing is, the Germans have these sort of interior lines to come in and block the situation, where you've got a bunch of divisions down here. Yes, you might sort of have interior lines, but if you get landings here, they can come in and cut them off. You're not really going to be cutting them off coming from here. So this is why, and I was talking in another episode recently, why America is the ultimate boss opponent for the game, or should be. And by the time, I don't know, you get to 40, sometime around, I don't know, June or July I think, and I may be wrong, if somebody wants to look it up and correct me, I'd be happy for them to do. But from one documentary I watched years ago now, but they stopped making half tracks like in June or July of 44. You know, the White, the company White made, you know, the half tracks, the standard infantry and the artillery. There were two models of half tracks, the I think it's the M2 and the M3, or yeah, I think that's it. One of them is, I think it's the M2, is slightly shorter and designed for towing artillery, anti-tank guns, anti-aircraft guns, and so to have the gun crew in the back, but also built-in ammo storage kind of things with it. But from the outside, they look more or less the same. You can sort of tell, but you have to sort of know to tell. And then the slightly longer, by just like 6 or 8 inches longer, set up to carry the infantry in the back. After somewhere June, July of 44, not 45, of 44, they stopped making them because they had so many of them that they couldn't figure out what to do with them all. I mean, they couldn't even figure out who they could give them all to. And that's with the understanding that they were shipping some considerable numbers out to Russia, but it's not necessarily that Russia couldn't use more of them, but they just didn't have the shipping that was going to Russia to ship enough of them. You know, it's just, and again, you know, the planners are going, oh, well, we can ship, I don't know, 100 a month or 1,000 a month or whatever the number is to Russia, because along with tanks and artillery and everything else they're sending to Russia, we got space for, let's say, 100 a month. Okay, well, we can ship them out at 100 a month for 10 years to the Soviet Union. We don't need any more, as well as everything else. And both Ford in Canada and Ford in the US were making a version of the universal carrier, the sort of the Bren carrier you may know them as. Been researching some of this. That had one extra road wheel than the British did. It does the standard one. So it was a little bit longer. Americans do it a little bit more, a little bit bigger. And they were made strictly for the Commonwealth market. You know, Lend-Lease. The Americans didn't use them. We made them. We made them basically the same as the British, though, like I say, slightly stretched out longer. So that the parts should basically be interchangeable between the types. But we were making those too. And, you know, the British were using, and as well as some of the other Commonwealth, were using the American-style half-tracks along with their sort of Bren carrier type universal carriers by this time. And so the U.S. is just making so much of these things, like, let's stop. We don't need any more. You know, so how is Germany, even if they're facing any sort of two-front war, even if they're, let's say, they're actually occupying Leningrad, occupying Moscow, and occupying Stalingrad, and the Soviets are just sort of hanging out somewhere out here, barely pushing on them, but with the idea that if you start withdrawing a lot of troops from the front line, you know, the Soviets would be able to go on the offensive. And even if, you know, the Germans occupying down here and having the oil flow, but they're holding, you know, along the what, this is the Volga, right? Yeah, the Volga. They're holding along the Volga even, sort of like we were at the end of the German invasion. They're holding the Volga line and going, yeah, okay, but having to hold it. There's no way that I can conceive of, if you've lost North Africa, and I don't think that you could hold North Africa in the sense once they're ashore and pushing, and they're able to push from effectively from this end. Germany is just doomed. There's just no two ways about it. What we're doing here now, of course, still really want to do a massive playthrough with and I know I got to get to, I've moved a little bit more on the Discord server, haven't set up any server, but learned a little bit more on Discord and things like that. But to do a multiplayer game, on the weekends. Well, Friday or Saturdays, maybe Fridays as well, if we can do it. I don't know. And have people play the other countries. But my requirement, because it is to be a challenge, and I do want the players to play well and to win, but it is also a television show too, okay? And whoever volunteers and wants to come along and either as a main or an alternate or whatever to play, we are playing a television show here. So it would be, generally speaking, do historical things or historically plausible things. Yes, and it was really just more of an occupation. The Allies did take the Azores and whatever. But you don't get to just, oh, we're going to invade Portugal because, or something like that. It's, you're the Western Allies. It's got to sort of kind of be justifiably historical. But again, you don't have to make the same mistakes. I'm not saying, oh, the Soviet Union doesn't like, oh, well, we know that the Germans are going to attack us. Well, we're going to attack. And we can discuss things like, well, if Germany is bogged down in Britain, fighting in Britain, then maybe they would attack. But they weren't ready to attack properly in 41. Maybe they were getting ready for 42, but if Germany has a huge army, no, they would have waited and hoped and waited for the opportunity. So it's those kind of things. But what I do want is once we do go to war, to play it smart, Soviet Union, to challenge the Axis players, because I would hope to have more than just myself as the Axis. And similarly, Japan doesn't go to war with the Soviet Union until it's dealt with most of its specific threats. So that doesn't mean they can't go to war. Doesn't mean, but they're not going to go to war while they're bogged down in China, while they're battling it out in the Pacific Island, these Pacific Islands out here, Indonesia and whatever. But if they've kicked ass in Australia and they're holding Hawaii or something like that, and things are going that well, then maybe, we can talk about when Japan might have. But Japan really, unless it was going to go its northern path, and which would exclude sort of doing all the southern stuff, unless it's going to go the northern path, it wasn't going to go after the Soviet Union. That's sort of what I would want the Japanese player to do it. So I'd want the Japanese player to be smart, be effective, try to win in China, try to win, these kind of historical places, and do that kind of stuff. And so that's because I would really love to test some of my theories out, and I'd really love to see how hard is it to, one, keep a strong enough force in the West to stave off a American, advance into here, having the Germans come in and help occupy Vichy France while still at war with the Soviet Union. And then as they continue to get stronger and stronger and stronger, once presumably, though of course the Soviet player may have other ideas and not want to lose, but presumably if Germany does win, how hard is it for an active US player to take Germany out if, like in these sort of conditions, Germany holding effectively here in North Africa, Germany having, fairly large forces around here, and I'd really love to test that out. I'd really love to. Again, it's not designed to have Germany win. It's designed to, have Germany sort of defeat France and some of this other stuff. But once the Americans get in, to see how, and I'd also like, because yes, we can talk that the game isn't all that historical, and we can't, just because we do it in the game, it doesn't mean that he could have done it historically. I get that. But I do, you know, you've seen in this series, and this is, once I'm done with this talk here, we're going to end this episode. I very quickly got the Soviet Union defeated. The one slightly gamey, sort of hard for historical was to have the Navy down here effectively and do the landings. I don't know how hard it would have been instead to have the Italian Navy sort of demand and force, you know, sort of like the Germans go, hey, the Italian Navy is going to go attack the Soviet Union. You've been worried about the Soviet Union north of you. We're moving through, you know, here. We're not going to do any landings or anything else here, but just tell the Americans, tell the British that if you didn't stop them, or if you tried to stop them, we were going to bomb Istanbul and other sorts of things, and you just weren't going to be able to do that. So, whatever. And put enough of the Italian Navy as escorts and transports to do the invasions here. And do that. And how would that have gone against a human player? I really would have liked to have seen a 42 invasion. Maybe the Soviet player would just stop me cold because they would better plan the, you know, defense, and that'd be an interesting experiment. I would love to do that too. See, these are some of the experiments that I would love to do, and I would, you know, love to have a good human opponent. Again, it's not set up to fail, but it's also not to be, oh, we met some conditions 1940 or something, we're going to invade, or they're going to reject, you know, the human player. Oh, we're going to reject your stupid Molotov-Ribbentrop proposal as soon as we can. We're going to invade you if you invade Poland or whatever. And that's not what I want to play. I want to play sort of what was going in World War II. Okay, so yes, you can read this, and that's my thoughts. Is that if you're here and having to create these kinds of units, no, it's on the map. Okay, there's just no way you're going to win against the U.S. ultimately. That's my view. You can talk to Django. He's doing a lot of research, reading some really good books on details on Operation Barbarossa. And you know, and I say you can talk to him. He shows up a lot of our Twitch chats, and he's happy to talk about the stuff. I'm doing a lot of research there too, but you know, and we've talked about things. I think I'm a pretty good judge of stuff. Again, I'm not the high level of researcher that some people are, but I think I'm a pretty good judge of what could or couldn't have been achieved. But of course, this is all debatable too. You know, there's a lots of debate. You know, just how rough was the terrain in actuality and things like that. So, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. Thanks for listening to me ramble. I hope it's reasonably entertaining. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And of course, please post questions, comments, suggestions, well-reasoned arguments against me. I love to read those, and I think I almost always respond. Sometimes there's like 3 or 4 comments from different people, and I might skip one just because I missed it. But otherwise, I normally get them all. And, you know, corrections, everything else. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.